Just let me just do without those cones right there.
Hey, it's Jay. Hope everybody's having a great day, staying safe. I'm here today with Chase. Chase has come in from Fort Worth, and he called me. He wanted to come out and do some training with me. So he's on an Indian RoadMaster Limited. Chase, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe some of your history as far as riding, training, and all of that good stuff?
I started riding street bikes again in 2011, and after a year of riding, realized I needed to have somebody teach me before I hurt myself. At the time, I was riding a sport bike, owned a sport bike, and I started going to California Superbike School. I've been there 3 times.
Oh, wow.
Fantastic school, fantastic instruction. Doesn't really cover slow speed handling. I traded that for the Indian. Sport bike school is great for high speed handling, but does not translate to slow speed handling. Since then, I have been to Ride Like a Pro twice, Tampa Police Department's Safe Smart class, and Robert Simmons class.
Okay, all right, awesome. Our skills out here are motor officer size, 12-foot cone weave. We're doing 18-foot U-turns, motor officer offset cone weave. So we're gonna see how Chase holds up on that with the Indian, and we'll show you guys his progression as you make it, and we'll check back after it's all done, see where we are.
Very good.
All right, thanks for coming out.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. We'll be back. So in just a few hours, he was able to complete the 12-foot motor officer cone weave with his clutch only. He was also making 18-foot turns with his clutch only, low RPMs. He completed the offset motor officer cone weave using his clutch and low RPMs with clutch control. But guess what, guys? You cannot get to this level without dropping your bike, which he did quite a few times, but there was no damage because of motorcycle drop guards. Now, he gained these skills, but he had to do one important thing that's necessary to get to this level, and that's drop the motorcycle. Guys, you're not going to gain advanced level skills without dropping your bike multiple times. As you can see, there's no damage to the bike.
There you go.
The bike has been dropped multiple times during this day, during the 4 hours, but yet look at his progress. He's making 18.5 to 19-foot turns on an Indian RoadMaster, which is a huge bike. If you don't have motorcycle drop guards on your bike, guys, I would highly encourage you to get them and get out and start training. Now, before you watch him train, let me say this. This Indian RoadMaster has the craziest clutch on it. It's very hard to control. I don't think it was set right. I even told him to have the dealership check it. So I gave him some time to warm up, and during his warm up, the best he could do was make a U-turn in about 3 parking spaces. So at this point, I start working with him on developing his clutch control, and we also work on proper throttle engagement. This Indian, the clutch was not working quite well, so we did have to use a little throttle engagement, but he learned how to use the clutch control and apply proper throttle engagement, and as you can see, he started bringing his U-turns in to 18 to 19 feet, and within no time at all, he was, making U-turns really easy on this RoadMaster, which is much longer than a Harley. Again, the clutch wasn't working as well as it should have, but in less than an hour, look at his U-turns. Now we begin the 12-foot motor officer cone weave. It's a pretty simple exercise. You basically want to look through the cones using your peripheral vision to look straight through the cones. You want to have the bike lean and turn under you as you're turning the handlebars and leaning the bike. You do not want to use any front brake in this exercise, and you really don't need any rear brake. I teach my students to use total clutch control through this exercise first, and then I teach them how to apply the throttle with the clutch engagement. That way we're not heating things up and we're tearing the bike unnecessarily. This is a very simple exercise to complete. As you will see, he knocks it out in no time. We're not wanting you guys to do this with your clutch only. We want you to use proper throttle engagement without burning your clutch. Listen to that again. This is the motor officer offset cone weave. I'm going to start working with him on this. We're now 3 hours into his training. In the offset cone weave, bike placement is crucial, as well as making your head turns in the direction you want the bike to go. You want to look in the direction you're about to turn to before you make the turn and lean. You do not need to use your rear brake. You can use your clutch only through this with no throttle engagement, but once you complete the pattern with total clutch control, then you should learn how to use proper throttle engagement as well. If you need to use your rear brake, use it as needed, but do not depend on it. Look for the other things that he's not doing or that he is doing that's causing some problems for him. I'm not going to identify those, but see if you can find those for yourself. In no time at all, he's completing the pattern, keeping his throttle RPMs low and controlling his clutch. All this is done in less than about an hour. So at this point, we're about 30 minutes from the end of the 4-hour training session. If you haven't noticed, my videos do not have 4 to 8 to 12 students in a training session. I teach private lessons. I focus on 2 or 3 patterns. That allows the student to come out, learn the total clutch control technique with proper throttle engagement, proper use of the rear brake. And if you learn those techniques and develop those and have a good understanding of them before you leave the training session, you can go home, you know how to work on them, you can get out in the parking lot, set up the patterns yourself, and just keep developing the techniques to a higher level. Now, as I said earlier in the video, you're not going to develop these techniques without dropping your bike. I can't stress enough the fact that once you remove the fear of dropping and damaging your bike, especially with motorcycle drop guards, it's huge. It makes a huge difference. If you look at other training courses that the students show up, they seem to do better than the ones that show up without protection on their bike. It's just a big difference for you. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you like and subscribe. We'll see you next time. So give us a little bit of input about what you got done today.
A lot more than I thought was even possible. I was told this bike would not make an 18-foot U-turn. As you demonstrated, it is possible. I'm not quite there, but I'm getting awful close.
Getting close. You made some little over 18-foot U-turns. You got through the 12-foot cone weave. You got through the U-turns. Like I said, you were doing right there at 18.5, 19 foot, which is great. You were at what, 3 to 4 parking spaces this morning when we started. We did the motor officer offset cone weave. We also covered some braking exercises.
Yes.
He's trained for 4 hours and he's done a great job. How do you feel about the method that I teach with the clutch control with the proper throttle engagement?
I have never been taught that before, and I have more confidence in operating this bike, especially at slow speed and handling. It's fantastic. In previous classes, I have burned up my clutch 4 times.
4 times?
Yeah, and
okay.
There's been nothing done in my clutch today. With what I learned with you today, I don't need 1,000 RPM, 1,200 RPM.
When I say clutch control, as the clutch opens, that's what you're replacing with the throttle, because you're taking the pressure off those clutch plates. As you said, you've burned clutches. I'm sure you were keeping RPMs a little higher.
RPMs 1,200 to 1,500, applying rear brake.
I really appreciate you coming out and giving me a chance.
Jay,
thank you
very
so much. It was a pleasure. I hope you come back.
I'm
Guys,
ready
I
to
hope
come
you guys learned something from this. I hope you appreciate what he did on this Indian. If you've got an Indian, the motorcycle drive guards, as you see in the video, they work real well on these bikes. So, I mean, they work great on the Harleys too, but they worked really well on this bike. No scratches to the fairings or saddlebags, and he kept his saddlebags on today. So, once again, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Jason.
Y'all have a great day.